Alright everyone, welcome to the first of hopefully many Gimp tutorials, which is going to be pretty exciting because I'm going to show you guys how to make some awesome things in Gimp, which is a free program. Basically the free version of Photoshop, which is going to be pretty friggin' sweet to make awesome looking professional thumbnails and such. So anyway, as you can see, I have this nice looking template that I made here by myself that's going to be up for download in the info box below. So you can just kind of download it as a .xcf and drag it in here so you can mess with the layers I have shown here, which I strongly recommend because this is what I'm going to be using throughout the video. But you know, if you don't, you can always choose to just make a new image that's going to be 1920 by 1080 pixels, which is, in my opinion, the best resolution for making a professional looking thumbnail. But anyway, so yeah, since we're going to be making a Minecraft thumbnail this time, I'm going to grab a nice looking Minecraft screenshot from in-game so I can use it in the thumbnail. So I'll be right back. Alright, so this is the nice world we're going to be taking a screenshot of. I'll throw up the seed and the location to this world on screen right now. And also, what's making this shading look really nice is the Sonic Ether's Unbelievable Shaders mod, which I will also throw up a link to. So then, yeah, this is what we're going to be using in our thumbnail. So now that we have our main image here that we're going to be using for the basic background of the thumbnail, we're going to want to resize it using the scale tool, which is right over here. So click that, and we're going to click the image, not drag it, click it, and then we're going to make sure these two links are connected. So see, unconnected right now, and then connected. So we want to make sure those two are connected. Then we're going to drag the top corners of the image until it's slightly bigger than the canvas. So let's make it a little bigger. There we go. We're going to hit scale to complete it. There. Now we have the nice looking background of our main thumbnail image, so to speak. And we can go ahead and minimize, I'm sorry, not minimize, click the eye on layer number 6, which is the main image text, to get rid of that. So then all we see is this, which is good. Now obviously this isn't going to cut it. So I included a Minecraft logo with the file that you guys would have downloaded, which you can make appear, I should say, by clicking on it and then hitting the eyeball button, which is right here, which will make it do that. So then we're going to want to resize it again. So once again, click and drag, make it a little bit smaller, maybe around there. Yeah, that'll look good. Then first of all, we're going to center it because we don't want to have to like keep it up here and be like, yeah, that looks about center, because it's always good to have things centered. So we're going to have to click this button, which is the alignment tool. Then we're going to click on the Minecraft logo. And if it worked correctly, you'll have these small little squares around the Minecraft logo text. And then down here, we're going to click the center button from the horizontal view, so it'll make it in the middle. And from there, we don't have to align it to the middle, but if we wanted to, we can click this and it'll bring it down there. So let's go ahead and bring it back up. So now that we've had that nice resize and everything, we might want to colorize it. And what I mean by saying colorize means to basically change the entire color of the image itself. So now we're going to go up here to the Colors tab and hit the Colorize button, just right here. So click that. It's going to pop up this nice little interface right here, which will basically let you change the entire color and appearance of the Minecraft logo. It's going to be pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a nice green looking color. You guys can choose whatever color you want by dragging around and experimenting. But to fit the scenery really nicely, I'm going to use a nice kind of darkish green looking thing right about there. I'm going to change the saturation to around, we don't want it too bright at 100, but we also don't want it completely gray at 0. So we're going to leave it maybe around 66 or so. And then the lightness is a big one. You can either choose to make it really bright looking, like neon almost, or you can make it look kind of dark. Personally, I like images when they look darker because it looks almost 3D to a point. So let's go ahead and set that to around -21 should be alright. So then the exact numbers for this is 102, 66, and -21. We'll hit OK to confirm it. So now we've got our basic text and the HD screenshot that you would have taken right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work on the actual logo. Like, are you guys going to be making a survival games, a let's play, etc.? And for this purpose, we're gonna make a let's make a let's play thing. So we're gonna click once with the alphabet text tool, and let's type in let's play. And as you can see, the text is very, very small. So let's double click that, triple click, I'm sorry, to highlight everything. And then we can make it bigger via this button. So we'll make that a little bit bigger until it's legible. So then we have this nice looking text here. And what I personally love using in all of my text and thumbnails is the special Minecrafter 3 text, which you can get on defont.com, which I'll also leave a link to in the description below. So anyway, now that we have this, we can highlight this, and we will type in Minecrafter up here. There it is. So then you get this nice looking Minecraft text effect, so to speak. So now we're going to want to move this all the way up here so it fits in with the Minecraft Let's Play. Yeah, the Minecraft title. So let's move that around here, and we actually kind of want to resize that and change the color, because we don't want to have a boring black looking text. So we're going to highlight this, and let's change it to white for the time being, because we can always edit it after that. So we'll have it white, and we'll also make it slightly more compact, so the words are going to be more compact. To do that, we're going to highlight individual word that we want compacted, and come up here and click the down arrow on the second little button up here that has the zeros. Click it, and it's going to make it slightly more squished together, so to speak. So you can get it really squished, or you can make it really far apart depending on whether you go up or down with the arrows. But for this, we're going to make it go all the way down to maybe around -7, so that the letter's a little bit more compact. So that looks good. But now we can take the resize tool and click it, but this time we want to make sure that the chains are unlinked. So we'll unclink that, and then we want to move it around until we find that it's a good, reasonable size. So let's move it around right, let's do this. That looks decent. And again, you can always go in and change it if you don't like how it's working. And again, to make it completely centered up with the center of the entire image, we're going to click it with the alignment tool right here, and then hit the center button. There we go. Alright, so now that we've got that done, we kind of want to make the text have a nice looking foreshadowing, what I call. So I'm going to right click it and go all the way down to alpha to selection. This will make it look like it's appearing to be traced by little ants, but really what it's doing is it's selecting everything that isn't translucent within the layer. Because if you get rid of all the other images, it's just a translucent background with some white text. So now that we've selected everything, we've selected all the letters in it, we want to go up here and hit select and then grow. This will make the selection grow slightly more, and I'd say around 6 or 7 usually it does the trick. Now what we want to do now is make a new layer, so we're going to click this white little paper button right here. Make sure the layer fill type is set to transparency. Just hit OK. So now I've got a brand new layer with basically the same selection area copied. So now we're going to use the paint bucket fill, make sure it's selected to black, and we're going to fill it all in. So it's going to look completely black, which obviously is not the most appetizing, not appetizing, we're not eating food here, appealing look. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to filters, blur, and then Gaussian blur. Now Gaussian blur, what it does is it basically makes the text all kind of fuzzy, like so, and you can choose how much you want it to be by clicking the up arrows. Obviously you don't want too much or too little, so it looks like it has no effect. So around 10 is usually fine. So we'll click OK. After a short wait, it makes it blurry. Now you can see this layer down here is, well, it's basically covering up the white text. So what we want to do is move it down. So we'll hit this little green arrow to move it down. So we have a nice looking shadow effect behind the cool looking white text, which I think looks really nice. So now what we can do is we can do the same thing for the main Minecraft logo. So we'll right click again, alpha to selection, go over here, select, grow it by 6 again, hit the new layer tab, make sure it's set to transparency, hit OK, and then once again fill it in with black using the paint bucket tool, and then select none. It's very important that you select none on here when you're Gaussian blurring it, otherwise it'll only blur within the selection. You want to blur the entire transparent layer so you get that nice shadowy looking effect. Let's go over here, blur, Gaussian blur once again. Make sure it's set to 10 again, or however much you blurred the last one. Hit OK. And then once again you get that nice effect. So now we'll go over here, click on the blurred layer, and once again move it below it. And then you get the nice text. Now personally, this shadow is way too heavy for the Minecraft logo. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lower the opacity of the layer using these arrow buttons until it becomes just faint enough so you can make out that there's a shadow, but not overpowering so it looks like a cloak, so to speak. So now that that's a little bit more faded, around 70 or so, we can leave that alone. And now what we want to do is we want to make the Let's Play green. And we can do that again by colorizing it. So we'll make sure to select the Let's Play layer, go over here, go back to colorize, and we will make it, actually am I selected on the white layer? Yes I am, alright. Now I want to make this probably around a greenish color, because just like the Minecraft major, you know, logo looks. But you can either do two ways. You can either colorize this, which actually I don't believe it'll work with white. Yes it doesn't, I'm sorry. So we're going to have to innovate here. What we're going to do is once again alpha to selection so that you get the white text once again selected within the alpha. We'll click the gradient tool, which looks like a square with a black and white fading effect. And we're going to choose our main colors we're going to be using. So for this one, since our text is going to be a light green and a dark green color scheme, we're going to use the color picker tool, select the Minecraft logo layer, and go ahead and grab the colors. So you can see they popped up here. We'll click this arrow to switch to the other one and copy the darker color. So now that we have a light green and a darker green color scheme selected. So now we can go back over to the blend tool, go down to the white text layer, make sure it's alpha to selection still, and then click and drag down. This will get you that nice looking fading effect you see in lots of professional well, thumbnails. So now if you want, you can go into here to colorize and make it different colors, because colorize doesn't work. I didn't realize this, but colorize doesn't work if the image is completely white, because you're basically going to be changing the tone of something that's white, which will still be white. So anyway, we can go in here and change the hue. And just for the sake of this one, I think I'm going to go with a kind of a brighter color. So let's use a nice looking kind of cyan. Let's make the saturation slightly higher and the lightness a little bit darker. 196, 72, -8. Hit OK. So we got this nice looking contrast effect between the Minecraft and Let's Play. So now that's going on, what we can do is now we want to make the background a little bit less distracting, because the background of the present state is very bright and everything, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you have lots of text here, like let's say you have a YouTube name, like your name here is Let's Play, and that's too much text and the background is making the text kind of hard to see based on the screenshot you chose, you're going to want to make it slightly blurry. So we can go into here and go filters, blur, Gaussian blur, and then once again we can blur it, but we don't want to use 10 because that's much too harsh. So we can start off with 5. Hit OK. As you can see, it makes it slightly blurred, so you can still see the image, but it doesn't take away from the text, which I really like. So now what we're going to do is go into the colorize, hit the brightness contrast button while we're selected on the screenshot layer. This is going to bring up a new interface, which lets you choose the brightness levels of the screenshot and the contrast. Which, what I really love about the contrast is it can make things appear to be sharper and more defined than they were before. So the trick to this usually is darkening it up slightly and then making the contrast go up. So you get that nice vivid looking color effect, which I really love. If you notice a lot of my thumbnails, I use that in almost every single one I make. So you can either choose to make it go higher with a nice contrast or darker. And personally, I feel like this is a bit too intensive, so we're going to lower these settings some to the point where it's about 32 and 46. So we'll hit OK. And then if you want to see what it looks like before and after, you can hit Control Z to see the previous image, and then Control Y to go back. So that's the new image. And now once again, we're going to have to blur with the Gaussian filter. So go down here to Filters, Blur, Gaussian Blur, use the 5 setting and make it slightly more blurry. And if that's not blurry enough for you, you can hit the filters button and hit the repeat Gaussian blur, which will do the same action again. So as it is now, that's a pretty good blurriness. So now we've got two things. We've got our Minecraft basic text and then the Let's Play basic text, which looks pretty decent as it is now. But we still need to worry about things such as the video length danger zone and the layer danger zone. And let me explain what those two things are. Basically, the video length danger zone within the red is supposed to be where the, like, what am I supposed to say here? How long the video is that's going to be in your thumbnail. Because YouTube has a little ad that shows up that shows the little image that shows how long your video is. Like, for example, 6 minutes, 22 seconds, etc., etc. And you obviously don't want to put anything of vital importance underneath this selected area, which is very obviously important, because otherwise you'll have that ugly looking sticker that tells you how long the video is covering it up. And also what this is, this gray background, is where you want to avoid putting any text, because then it'll start to kind of cut off at the edges of the thumbnail, which will make it look pretty ugly. Because it's always a good rule of thumb to never let any text touch the actual edges, which is why I left this black grayish kind of outline along the sides of the text, so that you can know where to place them. So now what we have to do is, we're just about done. All we need to do now is add a nice looking small title, so to speak. If you're doing a Let's Play, you can add the number of the Let's Play, or if you're doing survival games, number, etc. Well, let's go ahead and add a number down here. So let's go ahead and make sure the text color is set to white, and let's click here, and let's say it's going to be number 1. Now you have two choices here. You can either make the #1 sign, which means number 1, or just type 1, and that is very small. I apologize for that. Let's make that a little bit bigger by highlighting it and then growing it. There we go. And once again, I prefer using the Minecrafter text font, so we'll go to Minecrafter tier 3, and it is not working for me right now. Let me try and figure this out. Minecraft, there it is. Gimp, why are you lagging out for me? Oh, Gimp. Alright. Oh, saw it. There it is. Alright, here we go. So now we've got the Minecrafter 3 text in here. We can go ahead and, again, resize it to however big we want it, using the resize scale tool. And let's make it slightly bigger, like so. There we go. So now let's go ahead and move this down here. Oh, I'm sorry. And if you ever make a mistake like this and accidentally grab the wrong text layer when moving stuff, just hit Control-Z to undo it. Or if you're on a different, over on Mac or a different kind of computer that doesn't use these commands, you can go into File. I'm sorry, you can go to Edit and click Undo and Redo respectively. So anyway, now that we have the Move button selected, we want to make sure that the tool toggle button is selected to move the active layer, so that we can easily move this one without worrying about moving the previous layers. So now we're going to go down here, place the one right here with a little bit of space between the death zone, I like to call it, and the actual image itself. So now that we have this, we can go ahead and once again alpha to selection it, select grow it by around 6, new layer, transparency, and then black for our shading. Select none, and then filters, blur, Gaussian blur, all the way up to 10, like so. So now we will once again hit the lower this layer one step, and we have a nice shadowy effect between our one. Now if you want its own personal preference, you can choose to make the one like just like that. You don't need to shade it or anything, you don't need to colorize it, but for the sake of this video we're going to make it with the same color scheme that we used in Let's Play. So I believe what we did was we used the two colors on the Minecraft main logo and recolorized them. So let's go back up here to Minecraft logo, select the two colors, like so. Now let's use the gradient tool, alpha to selection the layer that has the white text on it. Make sure not to alpha to select the shadowy layer, and then we will drag down, like so. And now we can select none, and colorize it to however we like. So then, I believe that's about how we had the other one. Yes. Alright, so that looks pretty nice. And now as you can see, we're pretty much done here. If you want to make some final touches, you can go into the HD screenshot layer, or whatever you named your screenshot, and go up to here to colorize, and you can choose what your major color of your image is going to be if you're that picky about it. But for me, I prefer to just leave it the way it is. And this actually still looks a little bit too bright for me, so I'm going to go into Filters, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and blur it one more time by 5. So there we go. We have this nice looking text effect. If you want, you can add an image of your player character or whatever else you have in here. But that's the basic gist of how to make a nice YouTube thumbnail. And, oh, I'm sorry, I almost forgot. What we want to do now is we want to make a nice looking brightness effect to the Minecraft logos. So what we're going to do here is actually not alphabet selection. We're going to select by the color, which will be this light green sort of look. And actually for a better one, we're going to use the fuzzy select wand tool right here. Make sure to select none first. And we're going to select the second button, which is add to the selection. So we're going to go by individual letters and select all of this. It'll be a bit tedious, so I'll probably speed this up. Alright, so now what we can do is select the ovular ellipse tool. Make sure the third button is selected, which will erase everything that you tell it to. So it'll erase part of this selection once you drag an oval over it. Then hit enter. So then you've got this partial selection going on. Now go into the gradient tool, select white, and make sure the gradient button is selected to FG to transparent, which means you'll only have white going to transparency and not that ugly other color. And we don't want this to be too intense, so we'll move the opacity down to around 70% or so, 70-60%. And then we'll just click and drag down. Or actually, I'm sorry, it'll be clicking and dragging up. Like so. We do it a couple of times to get the desired kind of effect. And select none when you're done. So you got that nice looking text effect to the Minecraft logo, which I really love. And now really fast, I'm going to do that to the Let's Play logo again. Do the same steps. Alright, so now you can see I did the final finishing touches. Well, I can't speak today. And now, right before you want to save your logo or thumbnail, you want to go ahead and delete the certain layers that you don't want, which are going to be the layers that are in the original template. So we're going to the video link danger zone. We will delete these. Make sure to be very careful about these and which ones you delete, because you don't want to accidentally delete the wrong one. So into the video link the danger zone, we'll delete that one, which will get rid of this. The text danger zone, which will get rid of that. The big layer text, which will get rid of the border. And then the layer number 6, which will have the main image text on it. So there you go. That's pretty much your Minecraft logo. And if you want to add one more final shading effect, you can merge all the visible layers, which will not make this editable anymore, so be very careful when you're doing this. Hit merge, and that will make it into one huge layer. Now you can go into the gradient tool, sorry, not eclipse tool. Make sure black is selected. Make sure the opacity is turned down around 65%, and change the shape to radial. So now what this is going to do is, if you select the reverse arrow button here, click in the middle of the thing and drag out to around the corner, it'll make this nice looking kind of shaded effect, which you can change how intense it'll be by lowering the opacity on it until you get a nice looking effect that I like to use. And as it is now, I feel like that's still a bit too bright, so let's do 28. There, so you have this nice looking shaded effect. And that's pretty much the thumbnail in a nutshell. If you guys can't talk again today. If you guys enjoyed, a like would be appreciated. Give me some comments on what you would like to do next. And I'll talk to you guys later.